Welcome to The Sound, KQAL-FM's weekly behind-the-scenes look at Midwestern-made music. From writing and recording to distribution and promotion, The Sound is your source for new releases and exclusive interviews from Midwestern artists. Support for The Sound is made possible by a grant from the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Rolling. People of Earth, citizens of the KQAL listening area, prepare for a transmission from Minneapolis recording artist Future Babel. According to the biographic text found on the band's internet communication site, Future Babel is an emerging global civilization founded on the principles of free thought and expression, rejecting the cultural operating systems of the past. If the medium is the message is clear. The illusion is real. Other sources, such as The Joy of Violent Movement, say this: a weird yet accessible bop centered around off-kilter, skittering beats, twinkling keys, wavy bursts of guitar, and a driving groove paired with emcees spitting philosophy. I hope they don't spit on me. Or there's this little nicety from Extra Music Magazine. This group from Minneapolis has what it takes to realize a musical idea made of beautiful sounds and fascinating alt-rock. I say, open your ears, fellow citizens, along with your mind and hearts. Dots are about to be connected. The future is coming, and the past is never done. Behold Future Babel with their debut full-length album of sound delights titled Warchild 2.0. Tonight on The Sound.
Keep calling me.
I keep my eyes on the flames, but all the messages all seem to say the same things. Every slave celebrates for the defector in the family, the great attractor in some unknown benefactory. The remedy your memory until you start to pause. Enjoy your vindication, but don't forget the cost. I see the future.
That was Triptych, and that's by Future Babel. Before that, we heard the first track on their newest album called Transfiction, and I have Future Babel on the phone with me tonight. How you doing, Future Babel?
I'm doing very well, Bill.
Good. You guys are from Minneapolis. We were talking a little bit before I turned the mics on here. I am just kind of blown away that you do all this yourself, you know. I like I said, I was saving some stuff for the interview when we turned the mics on, but I just need to tell you, like, our music director here, this is a student-run station, you know. There's myself and two other folks who are like the, I guess you might say the adults in the room, you know, if you can call us that. But the music director came to me, and you know, it was a combination of your marketing, and he listened to the album, and he's like, dude, we have to get these guys, you know. And I took a listen to it, and I was like, holy cow. Like, yeah. So I have a whole bunch of questions for you. I'm super excited. I hope you're excited for this too. I think our listeners are going to love you. So,
well, I'm super excited, and I'm just appreciative that people listen to it, you know.
Right.
It's a busy world out there, and it's hard to get into new music. So anyone that can give it a second to listen to is just makes my day, you know?
Right. And exactly. And it's like you said, it's a busy world out there. It's crowded too. There is a lot of stuff crowded online. The way things are, you know, the barriers to releasing things have been kind of lowered over the years to where everyone can do it, which is fantastic. But you also have, your creativity spills out beyond the music, you know. What we received in the mail was a CD, but in addition to that, a newspaper, and that caught our eye, and that made us like go, oh, I dig this, because we dug the newspaper. So, you know, then he threw it on, and then he ran into my office and was like, dude, you got to come listen to this, you know. Excuse me. But that really caught our eye. So I'm assuming you do all of that as well, like the marketing and stuff?
Yeah, I did all the design work. I did the newspaper. I love trying to combine the visual with the audible, you know?
Mm-hmm, right.
And I think Future Babel is sort of this project that likes to sort of poke at the idea of media and communication. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, why not put out a newspaper? It seems appropriate for a compact disc.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it totally is. You know, I mean, you know, and we always kind of look people up and look at their website and stuff like that, and look for press on them. And I absolutely love your website as well. You know, it says that Future Babel is an emerging global civilization, you know, founded on free thought and expression. And I just, you know, and it goes on with all kinds of cool creative stuff. And I just absolutely love that kind of stuff. Like I said, myself and two other folks here, like the kind of the adults in the room, you know, at this student-run station. And so we're old enough to remember vinyl, you know, being more than just a collector thing. And all the packaging that came along with it. And that was the fun part.
Love it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we were super excited when we got that stuff from you.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I would have sent you a record, but they cost more than CDs.
Right, exactly. Maybe
so stay tuned.
Right, maybe in the future, right? So how did I want to get through all the tunes here, but I also how did you put this together? What was the impetus of this?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's, you know, it's almost one of those things I'm still trying to figure out. You know, a lot of times I feel more, I'm sure a lot of musicians feel this way, but, you know, you feel like more of a conduit than the actual creator.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it feels odd to take credit for something when you feel like you just went through the mechanics of laying it out. I don't know if you've read the Odyssey of Homer.
No, I'm vaguely familiar, but.
Yeah, it makes a great paperweight on my desk, but you know, there's always this like call to the muse, right? And
sure.
Like, who is that muse, and where does that come from? Where does that creativity come from? And I don't have an answer to that. It's just one of those things that you want to transition from the metaphysical world into this physical world. Mm-hmm. And I guess like music or newspapers happens to be the medium right now.
Right.
But yeah, it was a long process. I worked on that record for 5 to 10 years, which is why I'm completely sick of it and tired of hearing
Oh,
about it. No
wow.
offense.
Yeah. Well, I noticed. So is that okay? That's interesting because when I was looking you up online, and I went to Spotify. I'm a Spotify user, so I
Mhm.
went there and I went to Bandcamp, and I noticed that you have two releases before this. It's like one song in 21, and then in April of 22, three more tracks, and now this full length. So were you working on the whole thing all at once, and then just kind of released little bits at a time, or?
Yeah, sort of. I've been working on music for most of my life in various projects, and there was a period where I was living in like Whittier in Minneapolis,
Okay.
and I just got into this process where I came in every day from a walk, and I would write down one idea and record one idea. Nothing finished, just like rough sketches. And I compiled this huge, massive, I don't know how many there were. There was at least 1,000. And then now I'm finally getting to a point where I'm, going back through these and saying, okay, what is of value here? What do I want to share with people?
Right.
And so now I'm starting to sort of spoon feed it out. I did Dada Death Jam was sort of the first experiment. And then I did our EP, The Future's Just Ahead. And now Warchild, and then I got about 4 albums to go after this.
Oh, wow. So you have a whole bunch more material that you're working on still?
Yeah, it's
Cool.
And it's mostly written and recorded. It's just a matter of getting it paced out now and sort of like honing in on the details.
Right. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Well, like I said, I have a ton of questions for you. But let's get back to some music. We'll play some more tunes for folks, and then we'll come back and talk more. I'm speaking with Future Babel tonight. They just released their full-length debut, Warchild 2.0, and they are available on all streaming platforms, so go check it out, download it, purchase it from Bandcamp. We're going to play a couple tunes from you here. This next one is called, is it Two Tongues? Is that how you say this?
Two Tongues, you got it.
Cool. So this is Two Tongues from Future Babel. You're listening to it right here on the Sound on 89.5 KQAL. We'll be back with more Future Babel right after this.
Foundations of Mahasi extend beyond what we can see. We were born to be free. Come, go ahead and unfold. Settle inside. Imagination is evil. It is the human that go the billion. Come on screen. Whole system is American. The call.
That was Everyday People by Future Babel. And before that, we heard Two Tongues. And I have Future Babel on the phone with me tonight. So we were just talking a little bit there while the tune was playing that short tracks. You know, there's some tracks on this record that are a little shorter than the norm these days. And you mentioned the Beatles, you know, and I love it, short tracks. I think a song should be how long it should be. You know, we shouldn't play to some sort of standard out there, you know, so.
Exactly. And it seems to go in like phases too, or, you know, the genre will try and inform how long a song should be. But I agree. The song needs to be the length it needs to be. I listen to a lot of Beatles and I listen to a lot of punk music.
Okay. Right.
And, you know, there's so many great hardcore punk bands out there too that they'll just spit out 2-minute songs, and you know, you buy an album that's got 20 tracks on it. Yeah,
exactly. It's economical, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of like other people you listen to and where you draw your inspiration from and stuff, like who else do you listen to? Like what might be in your player right now, or what did you listen to this morning, or something like that? You know?
Oh my God, I love that question. Except, what have I been listening to? You know, I didn't listen to him today, but I'm a big fan of Animal Collective.
Okay, sure.
I think I take a lot of inspiration from a guy like Beck, who's gonna, you know, kind of cross these lines of, is he singing, is he rapping, is he doing spoken word? Right. But he's got some beats in here. He plays guitar. He's got some samples. But I'm also really into jazz, you know, which I don't know how much of an influence that is for me musically, but there's something very artistic about weird jazz music. Right. And I am not one to fully understand the nuances of music theory. It's a very complicated thing. I sort of taught myself everything, so I had to come up with my own system.
Okay.
But I can listen to something, and regardless of its genre or time period, I try and listen to it like I've never heard it before. I try not to label it with, you know, some genre. Oh, this song's from the 80s. It's like, who gives a shit, you know?
Right. Well, that's the fun thing. Like, you know, I don't know are you familiar with a band called The Faint? They're out of Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, they're on Saddle Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few tracks by them.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Your stuff reminded me of them a little bit, you know, and I'm a huge fan of theirs. And sometimes I play this game when I'm researching an artist I'm going to talk to. I'll go to Spotify and click on the band's radio, like see what the algorithms spit out and say are similar. And sometimes it's spot on, and sometimes it's like, oh, really? Like, you know.
Yeah, right.
But I noticed The Faint was on there, which I dig, and Chemical Brothers came up, Gorillaz, you know, things you would that make sense, you know. So, but
I have to go back and listen to The Faint now because it's been so long.
Right.
I am a fanboy of Bright Eyes, and I always thought Connor is such a well-crafted, you know,
songwriter.
Yeah, and he, I'm actually going to see him at First Ave here in May.
Oh, cool. Fun.
Yeah, they're back out on tour.
Awesome. And they're on Saddle Creek as well, too, right? Or is that his label even, or? Perhaps?
You know, I think he's got some connection to it. I'm not sure if he's like an owner or what. But
right, yeah. Cool. It's always fun to dig into scenes and see, you know, well, what else is in that town if they're from there and they're from there, and, you know.
Well, and two, you know, I think too, like, you know, we're in the Midwest and or North or whatever you want to call it. And sometimes, you know, if you're not on the left or right coast, you kind of get you know, maybe pigeonholed in an area, but I think there's an opportunity there to, especially in smaller towns, you can kind of create your own energy. Right. You can create your own scene, and they did that in Omaha with Saddle Creek. But I think even in smaller towns, like the town I grew up in was a small town, and there were these bands. They would tour from New York to Seattle. Well, they got to get gas somewhere in, you know, the Midwest. And so they'd stop and play these shows. And it was just like, you know, that was our that was our musical internet,
Yeah.
you know, in some respect.
Right. Exactly. How do you feel in Minneapolis there? Do you feel like a part of a scene there? Is there growing, I guess what I'm trying to say is there more folks with this kind of sound and things happening like that area? Do you feel part of a group and a scene, or are you kind of a lone gun? How's that go up there for you?
I feel like when you move to a place like this, you hope to be a part of a scene, or you hope to find a scene, and I don't think you can even recognize the scene until it's gone. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, if I lived in the 80s, would I have hung out with Prince? Well, of course I would have wanted to.
Right.
But I never would have been able to find him. So, you know, and then it becomes one of these things when you start making your own thing, it's like, well, no one's around. I'm just sitting in my studio by myself,
right.
going for a walk in the neighborhood. So I don't know. I think that I love Minneapolis, and there's so much great creativity going on here. But sometimes it's hard to feel connected too.
Right. Yeah. And I think that goes for any place, you know, large or small, you know. And especially I think artists, you know, like, I mean, I talk to a lot of them, and I think we all go through phases, and sometimes you're deep in your work, and that's really all there is at that point, you know. So, yeah. Like I said, there's a lot to get through here. Let's play some more tracks for people, and then we'll come back. I am talking to Future Babel tonight. Their latest album, Warchild 2.0, is now available, and this next track we're going to play is called Superposition, and you're listening to it on The Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL.
On the string, did the surroundings suddenly matter as you trip across the scene and watch the pieces fall and scatter, shouting, the more the better, we fall together. Life is like a death trap, so watch your head. Mind the gap. It's the same space, there's never a place to run or hide, just like the sands of the hourglass. So are the days of our lives. And just like that, you fall into a trap, but don't look back and don't be afraid. Cause when the hours go, so do the days. Just keep passing and reiterating and repeating everything you're reproducing. Yeah, all those great escapes and more. I thought that was sweet, I in the door. Watch your last remains and you go away. Till you realize the spaces between the days are always now you've got yours and I've got mine. There's something I need to tell you that's been on my mind. You're one for the Dow, two for the show. You're three strikes, but I'm still swinging, even though they keep calling me. The night will fall, another slow discuss a few uncommon miscellaneous subjects. Number 1, attachments that have passed away. Number 2, strangers who are falling in love. Number 3, existence with the insistence of war. And number 4, quantum entanglement.
That was Slow Decay, Overplayed, and that is from Future Babel. That's from their latest album, Warchild 2.0. And before that, we heard Superposition, and I have Future Babel on the phone with me tonight. Yeah?
Yo.
Oh, yo, okay. I didn't hear what you said. That last track, actually, Slow Decay, is the one that reminded me of The Faint the most, and I think it might have something to do with, like, the cadence of the vocal or something, but in fact, I was listening to your album over and over last night and just kind of, it's kind of what I do to prepare, is get it embedded in my head the day before. And then this morning I woke up and craved The Faint, right? So I listened to one of their records, and what I noticed, and I'm hearing this in your album as well, like, is your use of sound and rhythm kind of as illustration. Like, I think a lot of times today, in especially in mainstream music, the emotional power of sound gets lost, where I guess what I'm trying to describe is like a rhythm can create an emotion and support like themes, as well as like a guitar sound or a synth sound can support like the theme that, a lot of people latch onto words. So, but I think these sounds support the themes and make it even that more emotional, I don't know if that's making sense or if I'm just babbling, but that's what I heard in your stuff, Is that intentional or?
That totally makes sense to me. I always try and draw that connection between, again, the visual and the audible. And I think with this project, there's this balance of electronica and rock, right? Rocktronica, electronic rock. The electronics are still grounded in like these traditional foundational elements of rock, because at the end of the day, this is a rock and roll album,
right?
But the tree of rock and roll is huge, and it has many branches and twigs,
right?
But it's still got it's got the guitars in there. But then you add this little icing on the cake of each song, these little, electronic elements. My dad got the record, and I kind of jokingly said to my folks, like, I hope you don't like this record, because if you do, maybe I'm on the wrong track here or something. No, I'm teasing. They're actually, I owe a lot to them for my musical knowledge growing up, because they listen to really good music. But my dad's really into now that he's older, he's really into the blues.
Okay.
And he said, I need more blues. And I said, Dad, this is a blues record. It's an existential blues record.
There you go. What do you think of that?
He's still processing that, so I'm going to give him a little time. Yeah,
for sure. Let's see. I was going to ask you also about like inspiration for these themes and stuff. How do you put stuff together? Do you come up with like I know you talked a little bit about it and touched on, going for a walk and coming back and recording stuff. Does it start with like a lyric or a hook, or is it just melody or rhythm? Like how do you get started on something?
Yeah, that's a good question. I got to approach it from different angles. Sometimes it'll just be a sketch. When I say sketch, like a little demo or something of a beat or a guitar riff. Or sometimes just a lyrical line, and then how does that repeat? How could that fit into a chorus or a hook?
Right.
I appreciate that you played Superposition, and I've been seeing on the stats online that people have been playing that, and it's just a little interlude to sort of split side A from side B.
Right.
But that was an example where I had this little guitar composition that I was playing on my acoustic. But when you hear those numbers counting down on that track, that was when I was out. I think you can faintly hear it say Hennepin Lindale. I was crossing over kind of by the Walker. And it was the sound of the crosswalk. So a lot of times when I'm out and about, I'll just do, basically field recordings on my iPhone, and then I'll integrate those field recordings into the music.
Nice.
So some of the stuff you hear on that record, like I was backpacking in India for a while, and you walk down a street and you hear completely different sounds than you had ever heard, stateside or whatever. So just snatching that and then sampling it and seeing how it fits with electronic music is interesting.
Oh, that's very cool. I love that, doing the field recording, incorporating that in. That is fantastic. Was that kind of the inspiration for some of that when you were talking about the crosswalk? Was there like that affect like the rhythm of the track or the how,
Yeah, definitely like the rhythm. But, we're living in this crazy world where we're just, constantly exposed to information on, social media and news and, our environments and even in nature. And it's really trying to encompass that feeling of like, everybody's going down this path, like everyone's in the battle of their life, right? And as you're walking down this path, or if you want to get into Taoism, right, the Tao is the path or the way. Mm-hmm. And as you're going through this, you're just hit with this gauntlet of senses, right, like sight, sound, smell, and it's trying to create sort of like the record's trying to create a journey for someone where they can listen from start to finish and go through these like feelings and emotions of what it means to exist momentarily in this crazy world.
Right. Yeah, and I definitely get that feeling from this stuff, It not only tickles my ears, but it makes me think, And I'm not sure if that's, like the words you're saying. Like I'm not a big lyric guy. Like lyrics will always come to me after like the 10th listen, But something affected me in it that I was like, ooh, I don't know if you got subliminal messages in the stuff or what, but I really dug it, man, right off the bat.
Nothing subliminal.
But let's play another track for folks. This next one, man, this is the one that our music director here, he came into my office. He's like, dude, you got to hear this band, This next track we're going to play is Garden Party. I'm here talking to Future Babel tonight. Their latest album is Warchild 2.0, available everywhere you can stream. And this track is called Garden Party. And you're listening to it on The Sound on 89.5 KQAL.
Run now. Whatever they stole from you, whatever the enemy took from you, your miracle angel is about to fight this. You're about to see a change.
je jouw droombaan, of ga je de liefde van je leven ontmoeten? Ga jij het ware geluk vinden, of mag jij een ander klein wondertje gaan verwelkomen?
That was Garden Party, and that is a track from Warchild 2.0. That's the latest album from Future Babel, and I have Future Babel on the phone with me tonight. So, we're talking a little bit about where you get inspiration from. You mentioned some of the, field recording that you do and incorporate into the tracks. As far as like recording, how do you decide, and you'd mentioned that, writing some stuff on acoustic, how do you decide what kind of instrumentation to use, is it just, do you gravitate towards certain instruments, or do you, write something on one instrument and then change it to another because of a sound you want? Like, how's that process go down for you?
Yeah. I think it was just the result of years of honing in on what was around me and what I did. I've played in bands before and played in groups with a drummer, and that's always a great joy. But a lot of times when I'm trying to get focused in, I switch over to electronic beats because it allows me to like work out my patterns, and I think that's sort of evolved to just kind of stay with the song, as opposed to trying to later replace the rhythms with a drummer, which I don't know, maybe now down the road, I kind of want to replace them again and bring a drummer back and see what happens.
Right.
And the guitar thing is just like, I was sitting in my buddy's basement when I was 16 and I had this epiphany, like, I'm going to play guitar. And I got a really crappy job as a telemarketer, drinking stale coffee out of a styrofoam cup,
right?
And saved up that money to go buy that really crappy Stratocaster because that's what Jimi Hendrix had.
Yep.
And then it's like, well, am I a guitar player, or do I just play guitar because I played guitar my entire life? And it's like, I'm not a keyboard player. I'm not a piano player. I wish I was a piano player, but guitar's been my thing. So I don't put as much synth in. I mean, I like to put synth in, but it's not natural to me. Whereas like the guitar is more of like a paintbrush, I can be more expressive on it. Whereas a piano is a little intimidating to me. Right.
Yeah. It'd be like the guitar is a good tool, like a shovel, and the synth might be like a backhoe that I don't know how to operate yet, right? Or something like that, yeah.
But I could push it through the soil if I had to.
Exactly, I'll make something neat with it regardless, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, like when you record, so let's, I don't know if we were talking about that before we turned the mics on or not, but so you've recorded most of this or all of it yourself, with the exception of some drums, you said. Do you have anyone else that helps you just lay down tracks or helps you produce or anything like that, or is it just you?
Yeah, I want to definitely not neglect sending love to my buddy who played a few percussion elements on the record, and more so just for his like contribution to my life as a friend and for inspiring me so much with music. But
cool.
On top of that, yeah, it is primarily a one-man show. I do work with Matt Patrick at the library studio here in Minneapolis, and he does my mastering for me.
Okay.
Always nice to have a second set of ears after that mix goes out. And Matt is just, he's one of those good people doing good things, and so shout out to him and his studio, the library. Cool.
The library. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, the library is located in the bottling house of the old Grain Belt.
Oh yeah,
brewery.
yeah, yep. Oh yeah. Okay, I know where that is.
Space.
Yeah. Awesome. And so, okay, that's perfect. That leads me into this next thing. Do you ever? So when you're laying stuff down, do you have it all mapped out in your head? I heard you say that you demo things along the way and do sketches, or do they like evolve even more when you start laying them down? Like how much is the recording process part of your writing and creation process?
Yeah, good question. It's I try to find, it's sort of like in Buddhism where you have the middle path, or in maybe a better example would be if you know wabi sabi from Japanese philosophy, where you try and find beauty in the imperfections of things. So, like I got a beautiful teacup, but there's a big old crack in it.
Right.
So like I can try and approach my song with a formula, but if I only follow the formula, it's going to be contrived. And so what I need to do is almost have, more of a playful sense where I can sort of break it and cut it apart. It's like if I was doing collage art, right, and I'm cutting stuff out and moving it around, I'm still using the same clippings, but I'm going to move them around, and I'm going to glue them here and stick them there and cut them up here.
Right.
So I try and like walk that middle path where, okay, I'm going to have 50% of it planned and 50% of it is going to be abstract play.
Right. Yeah. Leave it open to that play. Right.
Yeah. And let me just say too, I just, on that note, I also want to give a shout out to, cause I know he'll be listening, Rick Rubin.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. He's got that new book. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's called The Creative Act. Yeah.
Yes.
And I just started reading it. I'm like 19% through, and I'm just like blown away by his ability to describe something that's essentially indescribable.
I know.
And if I ever, chat with any budding musician, I would say, get that book and read it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have not read it yet, but I've been obsessed watching interviews of him talking about it lately.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah. Super cool. That's funny you mentioned that. That's been, I watch YouTube pretty much exclusively, and I've been kind of obsessed lately with Rick Rubin. So
that guy is, he's just, he's had a life.
And it's, and anyone out there listening to this conversation, like, it's not just about art either. I mean, the insights he has will help you through anything in life, really.
Yes.
It's just fantastic, just really cool.
Yeah. And I appreciate you saying that, because that book really works on 3 levels. There's the musician level, there's the general creative level, and then there's just the human level. Yeah,
definitely. Oh man, I am digging this conversation, dude. I love it, absolutely love it. And I love this record. Future Babel, that's who I'm talking to here. We're gonna play another track, and then we'll come back and talk some more. I'm talking to Future Babel tonight. Their new album is called Warchild 2.0. Full-length debut. There's other stuff out there as well, other releases. Go to any streaming platform. Go to Bandcamp and purchase it. I want to talk to you about that a little later, too. We'll talk about that when you come back. The price is $7.77. I think you're always thinking, man.
Numerology, man. We'll get into it.
Right, exactly. Okay, so more Future Babel and some numerology when we come back. This next track is called War is a Fad, and You Will Die With It. This is from Future Babel, and you're listening to it on The Sound right here on 89.5 KQAL. That was War is a Fad, and You Will Die With It. And that is a track from Future Babel from their latest album, Warchild 2.0. And I have Future Babel on the phone with me tonight. So, yeah, it's available on streaming platforms and Bandcamp. You can purchase it for $7.77. So I'm assuming that's intentional, right?
Well, 7 is a good number.
Right.
I also, I want to give a little discount. You got to give a discount on Bandcamp because you get greater, proceeds or whatever versus like iTunes.
Oh,
they take a big cut. So,
sure.
Whatever. Like I'm passing the savings on to you.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I have a thing with numerology, and as much as I respect 7 isn't quite my number. I just want to say for anyone listening, I'm in the 2s.
Okay.
So I constantly see the 222s.
Mm-hmm.
I know other people who see 1s, and I've heard of people seeing 3s and 4s, and I find it's a strange world. The world is, this system of clocks and gears and numbers and code and matrix and physics. And
right.
I don't know. I think that if you want to be in tune with the world, you gotta look for those signs out there.
Right. And I'm glad you said that. Science, like there is stuff everywhere around us.
Everywhere.
We're all connected to this thing, and things are going down, man. And if you pay attention, you can tell. You can see, the path is lit in one way or another.
And those things will help guide you along the way.
Definitely,
sure.
definitely. 7 is actually a big number for me, so that's that caught my eye.
Oh, good. Yeah, that was Prince's number too, I think.
Oh, yeah. Cool. And it also, it reminded me of the Pixies a little bit too.
The Pixies.
Oh gosh, I can't remember the title of the track, but we were just talking about man is 5, God is 7, the devil's 6. I don't even remember the title of the track, but yeah, it made me think of a whole bunch of different things. So pretty cool. Will there be is there physical copies available from Bandcamp as well, or just digital?
Not on Bandcamp. I think the CDs are in low supply, but the goal down the road would be to press some vinyl. But
nice. Dang,
by the time I get around to that, I got new stuff coming out. I'm recording a new EP right now, and I can't wait to share it with you.
Excellent. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. How about, speaking of which, live shows? I heard you mention that you might go back to live drums, something like that. Is there any plans to take this to the stage?
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait, but I'm still working towards the moment where it's just, ripe and ready.
Mm-hmm.
I played a little warm-up gig in a backyard in New Jersey recently.
Nice.
And it was a fun experience. It was a challenge for me because, first show of a new project is a challenge. But yeah, that is the goal, is to not just like play the songs, but to put a show together that's maybe a little different than what you might be used to seeing.
Oh, cool. More candy and Easter eggs, huh?
Yeah, or, just like loud noises that drive everyone out of bed or something.
Well, call it what you will, right? Just fun stuff, right?
Yeah, noise is noise.
Exactly. So beyond that, what else is next? You said you've got a new release coming. Is that coming real soon? Do you have a date or anything? Or?
Well, yeah, I got an EP coming out. It was going to come out this fall, but for the first time in music history, I'm ahead of schedule. And
nice.
Yeah, it's a 3-song EP. It's called Monkey Man, and it's sort of a play off of the human experience. You know that movie Planet of the Apes, of course. Right. You know that. I watched it in its entirety recently, and it's a good movie on its own. It's a better movie when you realize that.
Are we talking the modern one or the 70s one?
Well, I'm talking the 70s.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, I like them both, but yeah, I grew up with the 70s one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen the new one, but just the concept of it, like could this actually be happening somewhere, or you have the realization that it is happening and we are it.
Right.
The point I'm getting to here is like, regardless of what you believe about like evolution versus design, it doesn't matter. And in many ways, we are sort of these conscious, sentient mammal type beings that are roaming this rock in space, right?
Right.
And
Right.
I'm also, like always questioning this idea, who am I versus who is, my persona, or, the ego that I attach to myself. And it's like every day I'm trying to just kill that ego.
Right. Right.
So this new Monkey Man EP is going to be sort of a narrative about that, around that theme. So Planet of the Apes meets Curious George and the Man in the Yellow Hat.
Sweet.
As recorded by Bob Dylan, which I just say that because it's like a tribute to Bob Dylan. He's been such an inspiration to me too as a lyricist. And
Very
it's like,
cool. Yeah.
I like to put little Dylan-esque nods into my music.
Uh-huh. Cool, man. Cool. Sounds good. Well, like I said, we are just loving the album here at KQAL. So,
well, I really appreciate that.
Thank you for doing this. Thank you for creating this stuff. Thank you for being, and thanks for talking to me tonight. This is fantastic. When you do put a live show together, maybe we can get you down here in Winona,
I would love to come to Winona.
Yeah,
that is a beautiful little town. Yeah,
for sure, for sure. Well, I've been saying this the whole time. I'm assuming everything is available on all streaming platforms. I mean, like I said, I'm a Spotify user, so I know it's there, and I know it's on Bandcamp, iTunes, stuff like that, right?
Yep, it's everywhere you can get it. Yep.
Cool. And let's see, futurebabble.net is the website. How about merch? Do you have plans for merch coming out as well?
There's merch on the website.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Got some T-shirts and stuff.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we're going to go out with one more track here. We've been talking to Future Babble tonight. The latest album is called Warchild 2.0. Go out, check it out, buy it, download it. And, let's give this guy lots of love, and let's get you down to Winona at some point. That would be fantastic.
It would be my honor.
Yeah, thanks so much for talking with me. So this is Prevailing Dimensions of Peace. This is the last track tonight. That's from Warchild 2.0 from Future Babble. And thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Future Babble for joining us tonight on The Sound. To hear more from Future Babble, go to futurebabble.net, your favorite streaming service, or Bandcamp. For more deep dives into local and regional albums, tune into The Sound every Wednesday night at 6, right here on 89.5 KQAL. You can also listen to past episodes of The Sound on your favorite streaming services. Find links at kqal.org. I'm Bill Stoneberg, and we've just heard from Future Babble on The Sound. Thanks for listening to The Sound. The Sound is produced by KQAL-FM on the campus of Winona State University. Visit us online at kqal.org. Theme music for The Sound provided by Mike Terrell of Fires of Denmark.